when we're talking about certain fictional family TV content, we should be talking about, like, Random RS Network or Tajmir Network in general. But right now, I talked about Tajmir Network as a history revisit, and now it's time to talk about one of Tajmir Network's sister channels. And FYI, the Mouse Mall 61 isn't affiliated with Tajmir Network because it's an entirely different network, which is completely devoid from Tajmir Network because it's under different ownership. Yes, it's owned under Tajmir Network, but in all honesty, this is more owned under Sesame Workshop with PBS alongside with CPB, also known as the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and Fantasy. No, we're going to be talking about Tajmir Jr. Oh boy. For those who don't know, Tajmir Jr. is an offshoot of Tajmir Network's preschool network, which went all the way back 9 years back in 2016. Now, Tajmir Jr. existed since 2016, and for those who do not know about this preschool block, probably don't know about it. In many ways, Tajmir Jr. used to be in the United Kingdom first. It later expanded internationally. The US never got one. Yes, they didn't get one until 2020. Now I know what you're thinking. Why release a preschool block in a new decade, which is the 2020s? Well, starting in 2020. Well, honestly, it was probably necessary. It's probably necessary. I mean, Cartoonito came to the U.S. on Cartoon Network the following year after Tajmir Jr.'s debut, but honestly, it would have been a lot suitable and better though. Oh, so it's better than nothing, I suppose. Enough talk. Let's just talk about the premise and history of Tajmir Jr. How it all started. Before we need to talk about how it is today, we need to go all the way back to 2016. Way before 2016. Before 2016, when Tajmir Jr. came, there was 1996. There was the Random Fan Network, launched in 1990. It aired certain shows for kids alongside with teenagers during the day and grown-ups in the night, under a nighttime block called Random Night. In 1996, the Random Fan Kids made its debut as a weekday morning preschool block, which replaced the Random RS block that aired on weekday mornings, which for itself was moved to Saturday and Sunday mornings. It didn't affect Random RS programming, however, and Random RS would continue to be on the weekend morning hours. However, despite the Random Fan Kids being well received, the Random Fan Network brand began declining throughout the mid to late 90s. And by the 2000s, the Random Fan Network was shut down, being ended up replacing by Random RS, which expanded as from a block on the Random Fan Network to a now standalone channel in 2000. On fictional and alternate universe cable providers, the Random Fan Network stuck around for just 2 more years until March 27th, 2002, when all traces of the Random Fan Network was wiped off completely. The Tajmir Network was launched, with the Random Fan Kids block being moved to the channel, similar to how Kids WB ended up moving to the CW. And just like Kids WB, this didn't last until September of 2013. It was announced that the Random Fan Kids would be discontinued due to being oversaturated by newer preschool shows and franchises produced and made by bigger channels and companies like Paw Patrol and Lala Loopsy and Nihao Kailan, and of course Dora and Friends Into the City, and lack of preschool and children's advertisements. And that it was discontinued. However, that was in the US. Internationally, the Random Fan Kids stuck around for just a little while longer until 2016. In May of 2016 in the United Kingdom, a few networks and companies, mainly Cartoonito, Nick Jr., Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon UK, and Tajmir Media EMEA in the United Kingdom, all announced that they're going to be launching a new Tajmir Network preschool brand called Tajmir Jr. The new block and brand would have blocks on Tajmir Network too, as well as the main Tajmir Network channel, as well as expanding to other regions, as well as having an on-demand service and a standalone Tajmir Jr. TV network. As stated by the Tajmir Network United Kingdom president, Tajmir Jr. will be catering to preschoolers alongside with a slogan which will change up the preschool generation forever. This new slogan, the new slogan would not be revealed at the moment. So I'm perfectly going to be saying that this would be the new generation for preschool. This is Tajmir Jr. Although the slogan was dropped down, called Tajmir Jr. Let's learn, grow, and play, recycling the older Nick Jr. slogan from 1993, Grow, Learn, and Play. Tajmir Jr. was first tested and was launched in October of 2016, replacing the Random Fan Kids brand. It became a huge breakaway hit. At launch, the channel would have various preschool content, mainly Angelina Ballerina, Bob the Builder, Barney and Friends, Zaboomafoo, and Theodore Tugboat, as well as some United Kingdom exclusive shows from Tiny Pop in United Kingdom as well. The Talking Tom and Friends series made its debut on the channel as well. Over the years of Tajmir Jr.'s existence after 2016, they began to acquire new content, up until 2018 when the new brand has announced that it has opened up and founded their own company, Tajmir Jr. LLC, which is here to this day. Out the gate, they're going to be making brand new preschool original programming for Tajmir Jr., as well as largely comprising a lot of people who previously worked for Random RS Network. One of these Random RS Network worker directors was Martin Mouse, who his cousin Gus Mouse, who really had enough of the company. They began to head up with Tajmir Jr. LLC and later began making pilots for certain Tajmir Jr. original content. This new interstitial pilot shorts program was called the Tajmir Jr. Gallery Institute of Cartoons and Shows. This is a gallery of animated shorts to kickstart the first set of Tajmir Jr. original series. Experienced or not, Tajmir Jr.'s pilot program would still go on for a long time. However, it seems that production values about certain programming will take up for a long time to produce. Over in the next few years, Tajmir Jr. debuted it out in other regions. It later went into Arabic, Canada with the help of Chorus Entertainment and Shaw Communications, alongside with New Zealand and Russia. Yeah, an Arabic version of Tajmir Jr. came as a midday programming block. Russia, I understand why. In some regions, a spin-off of Tajmir Jr. called Tajmir Jr. Let's Play was introduced. Originally known as Random Fan Kids Let's Play back in 2001, this block airs classic preschool shows, as well as some content fitting for the youth demographic. In 2019, late 2019, Tajmir Jr. made its first ever breakthrough hit when making the deal with Smart Study Ltd. To syndicate certain new Baby Shark music videos and later story shorts. And it happened in December of 2019, becoming one of the sole surviving popularity preschool brands ever. Also helped beat its other competitors, including its co-owners, in ratings. Yes, it was completely stupid for Tajmir Jr. to get Baby Shark, this is the British version of the brand. So I believe it's their decision though. However, it only aired in small quantities, but it did get its own music videos program later on and head on. Tajmir Jr. United Kingdom also had certain new programming blocks depending on which one. The Tajmir Jr. Breakfast Club, the British one, I guess. There's also Tajmir Jr. in the Afternoon and Tajmir Jr.'s Rockin' Clubhouse Fest and Tajmir Jr.'s Superhero Adventures. Tajmir Jr. expanded its popularity throughout most of the region until the new decade of the 2020s. During the time being, Tajmir Jr. was going up in ratings and was the sole remainder of preschool programming and was clearly the next generation for preschool, which that slogan will later be implemented later on. Back in the US, things were not going so well with the poor Random RS network block at this point. It's going through an identity crisis, knowing where it's supposed to be at, and the Random RS brand began declining. Because of this identity crisis, similar to what the game series like Need for Speed had the identity crisis as well. While Random RS was the king of Randomation TV and ratings since 2002, it would later be dethroned by brand new incomers, but later on. During late 2020, Tajmir Jr. put up its weekday morning time slot up for auction and for bidding, meaning that they have no interest of having Random RS Network up as a weekday morning block anymore, as it's starting to get more stale and repetitive when it comes to its programming. Boomerang content, Cartoon Network content, and alongside with preschool content, this is honestly pointless. I don't blame them, honestly. But all this will change, as on October 12, 2020, Subster/LogoVanner 2003 has announced and negotiated and pitched an idea to Tajmir Network to create a new block for preschool programming. Subster at Logo Media /Logo Media 2003 had pitched this idea to add Tajmir Jr. and expand and try to expand it even more and try to be in the U.S. Tajmir Network has agreed, and so it would be announced that Tajmir Jr. would come to the United States the following week. A special preview for Tajmir Jr. Was dropped on Thursday, which aired as a full hour after the random RS block signed off. And it was hosted, and it would be hosted by Moose and his friend Z. However, they would introduce us to a new mascot. You guessed it, Tajmir Jr. himself. Tajmir Jr. would host the entire full hour of the special preview of Tajmir Jr., showcasing new shows, brand new original series from the Tajmir Jr. family library, alongside with bringing in awesome familiar faces from Noggin and Nick Jr., while keeping some of the shows that are preschooly, as well as some adding some new faces from other preschool channels, including Cartoonito and Tiny Pop. Brand new pilots were made up and were going to be part of the Tajmir Jr. lineup as well. The new Tajmir Jr. lineup will consist of new and old shows, basically, particularly from Nick Jr., alongside with Noggin, as well as some new and modern shows. While modern shows on Tajmir Jr. may normally be a bad thing, and we can't just rely on old shows. It might get repetitive and stale after a while. Also, before the special Tajmir Jr. preview on Thursday, that day, Julius Jr. was completely removed from Random RS Network completely, despite the show getting great popularity for the people who love Julius Jr. when it used to be on the Nick Jr. channel, back in the 2010s. And the programming from then on consists entirely more of Kids WB / Hanna-Barbera and Boomerang content, like Bunnicula and Wabbit, now known as New Looney Tunes. And so the Random RS block on Tajmir Network still stagnated, and Tajmir Network saw that the writing was written all over the wall. The Random Fans Random RS block on Tajmir Network was discontinued after the announcement and with a fanfare on October 16th, 2020, after the Ranimation Marathon Morning and after the Michael B. the Emoji Movie special. And 1 week later, it was replaced by the brand new Tajmir Jr. US block. Tajmir Jr. was first tested on October 19, 2020 in the United States. Afterwards, what was the reception for the block? It was actually a universal acclaim. Many people really wanted a drought of good preschool shows airing on a block that really is a huge break from Nick Jr. and Disney Jr. in general, alongside with Universal Kids. With Tajmir Jr. coming to the US, this means there's going to be a whole slew of new ideas, original content, and a whole lot of new fun on Tajmir Network in the morning. Originally, Tajmir Jr. runs Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to noon, a 4-hour block. Why was it decided to make it a 4-hour block? Well, the choice was obvious because it would be horrendous and disgusting to have it imitating the Nick Jr. schedule on Nickelodeon. One of the Tajmir Network standsman said that the reason we wanted Tajmir Jr. to be a 4-hour block originally was because we do not want to end up like what happened with Nickelodeon when it comes to having Paw Patrol being in the lineup. So that's why we wanted to make Tajmir Jr. US a 4-hour block. And remember, this is an international preschool brand we're talking about. Now it's in the US, we gotta make sure we gotta keep the schedule tight, small, and very much good in ratings. On Fridays, Tajmir Jr. would extend a few hours. Now would extend an hour, airing from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Friday mornings. Why was it decided to do it? Tajmir Jr.'s spokesperson said, "We are doing new episodes of different shows. So that means any appearances of new shows, particularly might be old or retro Nick Jr. or Naga shows, alongside with modern-ish Nick Jr. shows, will end up being on the lineup." In addition to Tajmir Jr. premiering, they began its first ever fall lineup schedule featuring brand new shows. Many of the new shows are basically the older Nick Jr. shows that premiered. Actually. However, one new program that debuted on Tajmir Jr. was Viva Pinata. Here's the Tajmir Jr.'s first fall lineup schedule. The Friday fall season lineup began on October 23rd. October 23rd of 2020, it was Baby Shark's first day on the new block for the 2020-2021 fall season. Baby Shark and Pink Fawn would remain on Tajmir Jr. from October until December. By December 11th, both characters were no longer on the block anymore. The reason why Baby Shark was removed from Tajmir Jr. temporarily was because of the premiere of Baby Shark's Big Show, which premiered on December 11th, 2020. It would kick off with a holiday special season before premiering on March 26th, 2021. Baby Shark would later return for the summer. Following a few months hiatus from being absent on the air, Baby Shark would later eventually return to Tajmir Jr., now debuting under the new revival of Tajmir Network's Mega Tajmir Summer Splash Fest, which will definitely be covered in a future video. In March of 2021 to April, Tajmir Jr. began making its first big breakthrough hit in the United States and the UK. When making a deal with a few companies like Smart Study, now the Pink Phone Company, in association with Nickelodeon and Plotagon Studios, to pitch in this idea to make a new series for the block's mascot, Tajmir Jr. himself. And so, Tajmir Jr.'s Big Show premiered, and it became a sole success. It was a major hit, and it became the highest rated program and the most populated TV show on the Tajmir Jr. block, becoming the number one hit for preschool television. The second best preschool show, the Generated Friends show, also joined the crew as well. While the Michael B. Show and Michael B. and Friends returned for season 2, which was when it changed to preschool direction, and some people might say the show started going downhill since after premiering on Random RS. However, I still think the Michael B. Show and Michael B. and Friends are both better on Tajmir Jr. because honestly, it would have been gone worse on Random RS Network if both of them continued to stay up there. What if Random RS fumbled the series? Tajmir Jr. would also begin to air their pilots on the Tajmir Jr. block as well. During the first day of 2021 of January, the Tajmir Jr. channel came in the United States, And the Tajmir Jr. block was later been renamed to Tajmir Jr. on Taj, or stylized as Tajmir Jr. on Tajmir. Throughout Tajmir Jr. US's run, it has been receiving numerous viewerships overall and early on. Its ratings, its viewership, it has been very, very well received. The whole entire block was actually well received, while those like other preschool brands were later starting to fail in ratings. This is the fantasy preschool block that everyone might be going for. Tajmir Jr. in the United States is very special when it comes to its lineups. It would mix around its lineup, mixing in with new and old alongside with original Tajmir Jr. shows. The Tajmir Jr. block also shows some tiny pop United Kingdom shows, which basically are syndication shows from the United Kingdom after making a deal with after Tajmir Network LLC made a deal with Sony to syndicate certain tiny pop content for Tajmir Jr. US. We feel like Tajmir Jr. feels more of a definitive version of Noggin and Nick Jr. Tajmir Jr. is so much fun and creative when it comes to its new premieres. In 2021, it began to make a new Friday premiere block on the Tajmir Network's preschool version called Tajmir Jr.'s Friday Mornings, although it later changed its name to the Morning of Premieres on Tajmir Jr. This is a lineup of shows airing brand new episodes would end off with airing new episodes of Cartoonito and Nick Jr. shows for Extra Zip, according to the Tajmir Jr. announcer, Tom. Its slogan for Tajmir Jr.'s slogan is very much grounded with a much greater make sense slogan. Tajmir Jr. is supposed to be focusing on the let's learn, grow, and play. Yeah, I know this is basically an inverted version of Nick Jr.'s grow, learn, and play, with learn being at the first, then grow in the second, and play at the last. So they swapped learn and grow to the first or second. So Tajmir Jr.'s slogan would be Tajmir Jr. Let's learn, grow, and play. So I believe that's what it's supposed to be like, huh? It later received a brand new slogan called The Great Generation for Preschool. And honestly, it would be the great generation for preschool if it airs more content. And thankfully, it did. Then it later began incorporating itself the smart place to play, just like Nick Jr. However, it was later been switched from the smart place to play to the smart place to play, laugh, and learn. Actually, it's a very good one. Laugh, learn, and play. I mean, play, laugh, and learn. This is actually a slogan that would have been used. However, this would be used in tandem to ready to play, laugh, and learn. Actually. And which that slogan would be also being used in tandem with the Great Generation for Preschool for the rest of the run. The years that followed, certain Cartoonito shows like Bane, alongside with certain Cartoonito shows like Baby Looney Tunes, Love Monster, Esme and Roy and Lucas the Spider first aired. During 2023, Tajmir Jr. later expanded into Australia and Latin America. Although Latin American Tajmir Jr. Was already opened up back in 2022 or 2021, after expanding to the U.S. Tajmir Jr. LLC US was later opened up. It would incorporate new series and programming alongside with licensing shows and content, particularly Baby Shark's Big Show, which was licensed and was censored. When it comes to Tajmir Jr. LLC, they license and distribute certain shows. One of these licenses was, Baby Shark's Big Show, where Baby Shark's Big Show was been licensed and was being censored. The theme song was censored out. The do parts were all censored out as well. And its main song was also censored out in the process as well. Why? Well, Tajmir Jr. understood the criticism and the feedback that everyone was receiving. So many of the do parts in the Baby Shark theme song were edited out, being replaced by actual words, swimming around alongside with dancing around and more. I mean, afterwards, Baby Shark's Big Show's theme song looked alright, we guess. But at least it was less annoying in the process. Eventually, in order to make people not watch Baby Shark's Big Show, Tajmir Jr. began putting up notices of disclaimers on their block and channel, saying something about Pink Phone Wonder Star, which also premiered on Tajmir Jr. and Baby Shark's Big Show, warning them. They made up a warning sign. If you hate Baby Shark, please turn off the channel immediately until the show is over. Pretty great on paper, honestly. And also, similar to Nicktoons Network, the Nick Jr. channel, and Teen Nick, Tajmir Jr., just like Tajmir Network, was also used as a burn-off channel and a burn-off block when it comes to airing the last of certain Nick Jr. shows that did not meet expectations when airing on Nickelodeon or Nick Jr. in general. They aired remaining episodes of Butterbean's Cafe alongside with Nella the Princess Knight. They aired the whole entire of season 2, thankfully, but unfortunately that rights was removed and was purged prior to the Paramount Plus purge, which made WBD blush. They also aired the remaining episodes of Sunny Day, alongside with other Nick Jr. shows that had gotten the worst treatment. I mean, at least with Tajmir Jr., they aired a flurry of new shows. They aired a flurry of the burn-off Nick Jr. shows. However, we still have to give them credit for giving us a much better schedule, more than the Nick Jr. block did. And yes, it's all fan. And yes, Tajmir Jr. is not a thing, and it's entirely doesn't exist. And so what? And so what? What's the point? We also need to give Tajmir Jr. credit for having a much better ready to play in Cartoon City than Random RS Network. Yeah, they recycled various older Random RS bumpers and such, and converted it into their own versions of the ready to play in Cartoonville. When it comes to certain various fictional media. Just like Tajmir Network, it's also into the culture of into video games. Prior after Tajmir Junior Interactive was opened up back in the 2000s and 2010s, it began Tajmir Junior began to show up into some certain new video games, particularly the racing games genre, with the introduction of Tajmir Junior being appearing in Tajmir Network Kart Racers 4. Tajmir Jr. himself later appeared as a playable character in Tajmir Network Kart Racers 5 Redemption Speedway. DLC wise, Tajmir Jr. and his friends can be unlocked. Tajmir Jr. himself will be unlocked via some of the missions. Most of Tajmir Jr.'s friends has to be purchased through DLC content. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would Tajmir Jr. be an unlockable character? Well, that was been planned, though. However, it was later scrapped. So, Tajmir Jr. was been put into the base game. And can be unlocked at the start. Tajmir Jr.'s friends, I'm afraid, they're gonna have to be purchased through DLC, along with his siblings. Thankfully, the siblings pack is for free. The rest of Tajmir Jr.'s friends has to be purchased through DLC. Thankfully, for Tajmir Jr.'s friends DLC pack, they can be unlocked at a cheap price. Yes, I have some lore in my own fictional universe, so please bear with me. I love making my own lores in my fictional universe because honestly, showing off my own lore, really shows the personality and creativity I have in me. And right now, to this day, Tajmir Jr. is still going on strong, and they still make certain brand new shows. We even have a fantastic, brand new, famous, popular Tajmir Jr. series right now this year, which already debuted back in September, called the Tajmir Jr. Playhouse, starring Tajmir Jr. and his siblings and Michael B. himself. I just really hope that in the conclusion, whatever the perceived value is, Tajmir Jr.'s popularity success will not go unnoticed. And thankfully, and more personally though, Tajmir Jr.'s success is still going on strong. We even have a fantastic Tajmir Jr. spin-off game in my own lore as well. I just really hope to make sure to fund its legacy. Tajmir Jr.'s party success doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you guys all for watching, and if you like this video, please be sure to subscribe and make sure to press on notifications so you don't miss out on a new video like this one. I have fun making these type of videos. If you want to support me, check me out on social media. So yeah, goodbye.